Philadelphia 76ers star Joel Embiid will undergo arthroscopic surgery on his left knee next week. A team official tells ESPN. Embiid was ruled out for the season in late February as he and the 76ers met with doctors to determine the best treatment to alleviate his knee issues. That's weird because they met with what they said more than half a dozen doctors before they signed him to the extension. They knew he was injured, but they felt like they could come up with a plan to manage the knee enough for him to play. And then he had swelling and just couldn't get on the court. Got on the court a couple of times. Looked good maybe 2 out of the 19 games that he played in. And now then when he was ruled out for the season, they met with doctors to determine the best. Didn't you already meet with doctors to determine the best treatment? When are you actually going to determine the best treatment? But anyway, apparently they have determined the best treatment, and that is undergo arthroscopic surgery. I'm just like, there's 2 things here. I don't really understand what this means, because he had surgery on the knee. What, 2 years ago now? Or right before a year ago, right before last year's playoffs, right? He had surgery on the knee, missed a month, came back, or missed 2 months. I forget how long it was. Came back and dropped 30, 10, and 6 in a playoff series against the New York Knicks. And the Sixers lost. But he came back and played in 2 months and then had a whole off season and had knee swelling. I just don't understand how, like, okay, you had surgery, then you had knee swelling, so now we need more surgery. To do what exactly? You had surgery on a torn meniscus. Now you're having surgery because the surgery on the torn meniscus created knee swelling. It doesn't sound like an end game at all to me. It just sounds like a circle of the same thing. Number 2 is, I don't really think I'm buying it. I don't think I'm buying it. Here's what I think this is. I think this, and I've said so many times, man, there's no way they can run this back. There's no way they can try to sell this to the fan base again. There's no way they are dumb enough to try to sell this to the fan base again. I think this is Sixers ownership saying, tell him he's getting surgery. I don't know. Tell him he's getting surgery and he'll be ready to go next season. I just don't feel like Josh Harris and the owners care. I don't feel like they're even really paying attention. And it just seems like somebody knocks on his door once in a while and is like, hey, our first week of season ticket sales for next year are in the tank. 0. Nobody said yes. What are we doing about the Joel Embiid thing? He's like, tell him he's getting surgery again and he'll be ready to go. This seems like to me they are actually going to try to run this back again next year. And that seems like a death wish as a business owner. What happened this season was a disaster. You could not have asked for a worse outcome. You couldn't have asked for a worse start to the season. You couldn't have asked for a worse reaction by the fans. You couldn't have asked for a worse overall team performance. You got 3 max contracts. You end up tanking. And really, Joel Embiid couldn't play. And your solution to that is to say he's having surgery again and he'll be ready to go next season? They're really going to try to run this back? You really think the fans are going to buy? Dude, I was just driving, listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, and I swear to God, an advertisement came on the radio station, 97.5 The Fanatic. 76ers season tickets now on sale. Reserve your season ticket package now at PhiladelphiaSeventy-Sixers.com. I was like, they're running ads on the radio for Sixers season ticket packages right now, bro. Who is buying that at this point? So this just seems crazy to me. It seems like they're straight running it back. And I guess I haven't heard enough information yet to know, like, how's this gonna fix what the last surgery couldn't fix. You got a whole offseason to try to get the fans back in. This isn't the right direction, I don't feel like. Not that they could have traded him right now. But it seems like they're just gonna, hey, he's getting another surgery and he'll be back next year. Please come back to the arena, please. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Joel Embiid reportedly will undergo arthroscopic surgery on his left knee next week. In the latest update, center Joel Embiid will undergo surgery on his left knee. Shams will be reevaluated 6 weeks after surgery. So you know how that goes as a Sixers fan. He gets the surgery. We expect an update 6 weeks later. In 6 weeks, they'll say he's being reevaluated in 3 weeks. And then in 3 weeks, they'll say he's being reevaluated in 3 weeks. And that'll keep going on and on and on until the fan base is so pissed off that they're forced to give an update. And then Daryl Morey will have a press conference and tell a bunch of lies. You know how it goes. Embiid was ruled out for the season after dealing with recurring knee issues. The team announced the decision to shut down Embiid to focus on the center's long-term health and performance. At the time, the next steps for Embiid were not clear. It will be Embiid's second procedure on that knee in just over a year. Sham says he will be reevaluated in 6 weeks and is expected to make a full recovery. I feel like we got to talk about what that means. He'll be reevaluated in 6 weeks and is expected to make a full recovery. Does that mean he's expected to return to 100% MVP level play? I mean, I guess they're not going to say he's expected to be 75% after the surgery. I guess you have to say he's expected to make a full recovery. I just don't. I don't know, man. I'm not buying that ownership believes this, and I'm not buying that this is gonna work. You know, that's where I'm at with it. Is he going to miss till March? What do you mean, March next year? Is he going to miss till March? I don't know. They just said reevaluated in 6 weeks. What else we got? There's an article, right, that I was reading. Yeah. I was reading an article. It ruled out for the season in late February. Met with doctors. Okay. Embiid has been dealing with a knee issue throughout the season. He missed the first 9 games with what the team called left knee management. That's not true at all. They called it a ramp-up protocol. They did not say his left knee was injured. They did not say they were managing left knee swelling. They didn't say anything about his left knee when he missed those first 9 games of the season. All they said was Joel Embiid is not playing tonight. He is still in a ramp-up protocol. That's all they said at the beginning of the season. And then they were forced to come out and tell everyone his knee was injured because the NBA fined them $100,000 for lying to the fans. That actually happened, eventually prompting an NBA probe over the All-Stars game participation. There you go. So they got caught lying to the fans. Everybody knows that. I mean, everybody doesn't know that, but I know that. Real Sixers fans know that. But the knee issues persisted. Consulted with doctors and specialists end of February, deciding he needed to take a new approach. Due to a combination of injury management and a suspension for confrontation with a reporter. Remember that? Marcus Hayes. Embiid played 19 games this season, averaging a lower than normal 23, 8, and 9. Despite initially high hopes for the team signing free agent Paul George to a massively, it's been run through. The team was terrible. Yeah, they fucking suck. Okay, that's that article. There's all the updates on Joel Embiid. We're going to get to what Brian Sutter said about it. Yeah. Shout out to Paul Michio with the super chat. What's up, man? Thanks for coming through. Nick Marchetti. I pray we get flags so we're forced to have change. That's interesting, man. You know, if the Sixers get, dude, this offseason is going to be a banger as far as drama and content. I know that because, what they do moving forward, what direction the entire franchise moves in, is dependent on where they land in the lottery and who they draft. So there's going to be a whole lot of things happening and conversations to be had. Hamburglar Helpster, dude, solid name. What are some trade scenarios you can see moving on from Paul George and Embiid in the offseason? Dude, I don't see any. Man. People have thrown out, throwing in our first round pick this year if we land in the lottery to try to get rid of Paul George. I think that's crazy. I think, dude, if you even want to trade Joel Embiid, I think you're going to have to, I guess, have him get this surgery, come back next season, actually look like he can play, and then sell him because there's no value right now. There's no value with a guy that's on a 3-year, $150 million extension, Joel Embiid, who couldn't play, couldn't get on the court. There's no value. Who's trading for that? And then you got Paul George, who just looks totally washed at 34 years old, hasn't been on an All-NBA team since 2021. That's over 4 entire seasons. And is on a 4-year max contract at $50 million a year. I mean, it's worse. It might be the worst contract in the NBA. Who's trading for that? I don't know. I don't see any to answer that question. I do not see any. He's probably asking about March because ACL injuries could take a year, but this isn't. No, this is not an ACL surgery. This is apparently arthroscopic surgery to try to fix the knee swelling that has happened after the meniscus surgery that happened the year before that.